2,18,000 rupees. That's what this build costs. And every single rupee of that makes sense because this machine has to do two jobs at the same time. Game at 4K, edit 4K footage simultaneously. Most PC channels will just read you the spec sheet. We're going to tell you why each part was chosen and what happens to your workflow the moment you turn this thing on. We're at EmpressPC.in. We source, we build, we test. Every machine that leaves our store is put together by hand, component by component. No middleman, no guesswork. Just proper PC building for people who actually use their machines for real work. This build today, we call it a gaming and editing hybrid. That's not marketing language, that's an actual engineering brief we had to solve. So let's get into it. Here's what the brief looked like. A client who plays games, demanding games, at high resolution, high frame rates, no stutters. The same client also edits video, 4K footage, multi-track timelines, long sessions in DaVinci Resolve and Premiere. The problem is, gaming and video editing actually fight each other for resources. Gaming wants raw GPU power and fast memory. Editing wants cores, bandwidth, and storage throughout. You have to build a machine that's exceptional at both, not a compromise that's mediocre at each. These 8 parts are how we solved that problem. Let's go through them one by one. Intel Core Ultra 7 265K, 20 cores, 8 performance cores, 12 efficiency cores. Now here's why that matters, specifically for this use case. When you're gaming, your game is using the P cores, the fast ones, to push frames. At the same time, if you've got OBS running or a background export going or Discord, those E cores handle all of that without touching your game performance. And for editing, the 265K is a render monster. Software rendering in Premiere, effects in After Effects, noise reduction in DaVinci, every core is working. 20 threads running hot. This ain't a gaming CPU that can also edit. This is a CPU that was designed to do both at the same time and not blink. 31,000 rupees well spent. This is the part that makes everything else possible. The PNY GeForce 5070 Triple Fan Edition. The RTX 50 series runs on NVIDIA's Blackwell architecture. And if for gaming and editing build, Blackwell is genuinely a different category of GPU. Let's start with gaming. The 5070 at 1440p and 4K pushes frames the 4070 Ti couldn't dream of. DLSS 4 with multi-frame generation means your frame rate is not bottlenecked by resolution. Ultra setting, high refresh, smooth. Now for editing, NVIDIA's AV1 encoder in the 5070 is hardware accelerated. That means when you export a 4K timeline in Premiere or DaVinci Resolve, the GPU is doing the heavy lifting, not your CPU. Your export times drop dramatically. Your previews play in real time. VRAM, and I can't stress this enough for editors, enough headroom to load full resolution 4K project assets without proxies. One card, 2 disciplines, and 0 compromises. This is the heart of the build and it earns every single rupee. 2 components people underestimate and they really shouldn't. First, G-Skill Trident Z5 RGB, 32 gigabytes, 2 of 16 each, DDR5 at 6000 MHz, CL36. Why 6000 MHz specifically? On Intel's 800 series platform, the memory controller runs most efficiently at 6000. That's not a coincidence, that's exactly why we picked this kit. You get the sweet spot of latency and bandwidth without pushing the XMP profile to unstable territory. For editing, 32 gigs means your project cache, application RAM, and OS overhead all breathe simultaneously. And then there's the Corsair MP600 Elite, 1 TB, PCIe Gen 4, 7000 Mbps sequential read, a 20 GB game that used to take 45 seconds to load, now under 3 seconds. A 4K raw footage clip that used to stutter during scrubbing plays like a YouTube video. The SSD is not a luxury in this build, it's a load-bearing infrastructure. 3 components that don't get the spotlight but hold the build together. The Arctic Liquid Freezer 3 Pro 360, 360mm radiator, 3 120mm fans, and the 265K, a chip that pulls serious power. The Arctic keeps it under control. Not just at idle, not just gaming, even during a 2-hour export session, while gaming at the same time. Thermals stay sane. Clocks stay boosted. Gigabyte Z890 Eagle Wi-Fi 7, the native platform for the Core Ultra 7 265K, not a stopgap. PCI 5 ready, Wi-Fi 7 built-in. Your ping is slower than it's ever been. And when a faster SSD releases next year, this board already supports it. Deepcool Gamer Storm PN850M Gold, 850 watts, fully modular, gold-rated efficiency. The RDX 5070 uses ADX 3.1. This PSU has the native 16-pin connector. No adapters, no power delivery problems. No transient spikes killing your GPU. Clean power for a clean build. And everything lives inside this. Lianli LAN-cooled 207 ARGB, mid-tower ATX form factor, chosen for airflow, not just aesthetics. The front panel pulls cool air in directly. The mesh top exhausts hot air up and out. Your GPU and CPU have a clean thermal corridor. Nothing recirculates. But also, it looks incredible. The ARGB front panel is fully customizable. Sync it to your game, sync it to your music, one static color. If you're understated type, this is the finished build. Core Ultra 7265K, RTX 5070, DDR5 at 6000, a Gen 4 SSD, 360mm AIO, Z890, 850 watt gold, a Lianli 207. Everything chosen deliberately, everything installed properly. This is what it looks like when someone actually thinks about what you need, not just what's available at the price. If you're watching this and thinking, I want something like this, but my budget is different, that's exactly what we do. Whether you've got 50,000 to spend or 20 lakh rupees, we'll spec a build that makes the most of every rupee. No upsells on parts you don't need, no cutting corners on parts that matter. Call us or WhatsApp us on the given numbers. The website is EmpressPC.in. You can check our previous builds there. If this video helped you understand your next build better, hit the subscribe button. We do detailed build walkthroughs like this every time we put something interesting together. And if you've got a build brief, a game you want to play, a software you use, a budget, drop it in the comments. We'll tell you what we'd build for that. Thanks for watching. Happy building.